Okay, let's talk about this million-dollar question. Do you actually need an LLC for your side hustle, or is it just something that people always talk about and never actually do? As someone who has tried like a million different side hustles and has multiple LLCs, I'm actually happy to share my opinion and experience with you. In this video, I'm going to break down what an LLC actually is, why it might be a smart move compared to staying a sole proprietor, and I'm even going to show you how you can easily set up an LLC using a service like Tailor Brands. Ready? Let's jump in. All right, let's start with the basics. What in the world is an LLC? So LLC literally stands for Limited Liability Company. It's a business structure that comes with the simplicity of being a sole proprietor, so just being like a normal individual, with some of the protections you would get if you ran a corporation. So the main idea might be right in the name, limited liability. You're probably wondering like, yeah, Christina, I get it, limited liability, but what exactly does it mean? So it means that if your business gets into legal trouble, so for example, you get sued, or if your business racks up debt, your personal assets such as your house, your car, and your savings are generally protected. Only the business assets are going to be at risk. On the other hand, if you're running your business as a sole proprietor, there's literally no separation between you and your business. You're all just one thing. So if something goes wrong, the creditors and the lawyers will have the legal right to go after your personal assets. So that's where the huge difference is. Now, aside from the separation between you and your business, what are some of the other benefits of having an LLC? Well, I'm here to break it down for you. So if you are a sole proprietor, the main benefits is that it's free and easy. You don't have to file anything special with your state. There's no paperwork involved. You kind of just running business as usual. You can just start working and doing all these side hustles, and the money you make is your income. Now, taxes are also going to be simple. You'll just report your business income on your personal tax returns. But here's a catch. There is no liability protection. If a client sues you or the product that you're selling causes damage, you are personally responsible. Now, on the other hand, as an LLC, you get liability protection, which means your personal assets have nothing to do with the business. They are generally protected. People can only go after your business assets. Another benefit is that you also get more credibility with your clients because, let's be real, having an LLC at the end of your company always makes you look more professional. Now, also in most cases, having an LLC will make it easier for you to open a business bank account or get special business financing. Now, my favorite benefit is that in most cases, you can write off a lot of your business expenses and save on taxes. So by business expenses, I mean things like your equipment. If you have to purchase it for your business, you can write off, like, if you're leasing a place or an office or a studio, that is also going to be a write-off, meaning it will reduce the taxable income that you have. And then depending on the business, you can also write off a lot of different things that you're probably already using. So for example, as a content creator, I am able to write off a lot of daily things like a portion of my Wi-Fi bill, a portion of my mortgage, since I use a part of my house as a studio in a home office. I obviously write off all my filming equipment, my software subscriptions, and also as an on-camera talent, I am able to write off things like my spa appointments, nail appointments, hair appointments, because as a creator, I obviously have to maintain a certain appearance. So there are a lot of different things that you're actually able to deduct from your taxable income every single year. But, again, this is not a business and definitely not a financial advice and not a tax advice. So make sure that you check with your CPA about write-offs. But in general, writing off expenses is probably one of the biggest benefits of having an LLC. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is that there's a common misconception that forming an LLC takes a lot of work. I mean, I guess in certain cases it is true. A lot of it depends on the state that you're living in. In most cases, you can just go on your state's website, download LLC forms, fill them out, and file them yourself. But for most people, it can be pretty confusing. Now, filing for an LLC is like the concept itself is pretty simple. However, there's a lot of confusing parts. And then the most frustrating part is that every state has its own requirements, own timelines, and it can also cost a different amount depending on the state that you're in. So for example, with my very first LLC, I actually filed for it when I was in New York. And New York is probably one of the most expensive places for you to file an LLC. And in the state of New York, you also have to publish articles about your business in a local newspaper for at least 6 weeks. And that step alone costed me $1,000, which was pretty annoying, but it's not the case with most other states. Now, once again, you can do all of these things yourself, or you can also use a service like Tailor Brands, which will make the whole process way easier. Now, in case you're not familiar with Tailor Brands, they are a business building platform designed to help individuals start, manage, and grow their businesses, particularly focusing on LLC formation. It provides tools, guidance, and resources for various aspects of business development. Now, I'm going to show you exactly step by step how to file for an LLC using Tailor Brands because it is very simple. So you're going to start by going on their website, and here it is right here on the home homepage, you can start by entering your business name. So in my case, I'm going to put in Christina's Side Hustles as a business name. We're going to click Get Started, and you're going to need to answer some simple questions. So Tailor Brands actually offers a wide range of services, so you can just select what you need help with today. In this case, we're going to select LLC. But as you guys can see, they also can help you with things like logo, website, licenses and permits, domain, tax and accounting, so quite a few different things. Okay, so we're gonna hit next, and you wanna select whether your business offers physical products or professional services. So in my case, I offer professional services. Okay, next up, where will Christina's Side Hustle serve customers? So obviously in my case, I do everything online, but select what applies to your business. Now, you're going to select what industry your business is in. So in my case, as a YouTuber and a content creator, I'm selecting media entertainment, and then you can also tell them more about your business, but this step is optional. All right, next up, let's select what stage is Christina's Side Hustles currently in. It could be just an idea, you're taking the first steps, you're about to launch, or in my case, already in business. Cool, then you just need to select which state you are operating from. We're going to select Nevada. Obviously, I'm not going to give you my actual zip code, so I'm just putting in a random Las Vegas zip code here. All right, let's go next. Are you planning to hire any employees in the upcoming year? And in this case, they're going to mean a W-2 employee versus a 1099 employee for all of my viewers based in the United States. Okay, let's click next. Is Christina's Side Hustles currently registered as an LLC or other business entity? I'm going to select no. So the next part I actually really like because they don't want to be repetitive and they just want to provide you with solutions that you actually need. So one of the last questions they're going to ask you is, let's scratch off things Christina's Side Hustles already has. So let's say if you already have any of these things like an actual LLC, registered agent, EIN, logo, domain, insurance, business banking, all of those things, just scratch them off. In this case, I'm just going to say they already have a domain because I do. Now, I also do have a business email and I sort of have merchandise and graphic design. Oh, you can also select none of the above. All right, click next. And here you go. You have the personalized guide on what you need to focus on next. So based on what you can see, they can help you with anything from setting up an LLC, doing all the licenses and permits, creating a logo. They can help you with taxes and accounting, as well as they can help you with an EIN, which we'll discuss in just a second. But in this case, we're going to select create an LLC and let Tailor Brands take it from there. Tailor Brands also kindly partnered with me in this video, so if you're interested in using their services, make sure to use my link down below to get 35% off of your purchase. Pretty much what's going to happen next is Tailor Brands is going to check if, first of all, the business name is available in your state. They're going to help you prepare and file LLC paperwork for you, so you don't have to go back and forth and try to find every little thing that you need. And from there, you can sign up for additional services. For example, for an additional cost, they can also help you with getting an EIN, which stands for Employer Identification Number. Now, you don't technically need an EIN to form your LLC. However, you are going to need an EIN if you want to apply for a business bank account, or you're also going to need it when you file for your business taxes. Now, depending on your package and the next steps, they can also help you with things like operating agreements, compliance reminders, and other tools that you're going to need to stay legal. So the best part about using a service like Tailor Brands instead of just having to, go on your government website and file for an LLC yourself is that you don't have to worry about where does each file or form goes or where to find it. They are going to have everything prepared and ready for you. Pretty much they handle everything and you just get a confirmation once your LLC is ready. Okay, so I know you guys probably wondering like, what is so different about Tailor Brands? Why can't I just use one of the other similar services? So I'm glad you asked because I've actually used similar services in the past for my previous LLCs, and here's some of the key differences that I noticed. So Tailor Brands is not just a website, it is a business builder that offers a full range of business and branding services. They don't just stop at forming your LLC, they can also help you with a variety of other things that you're probably going to need as you're growing your business. For example, they can also help you with legal services, business insurance, business banking, your website domain, licenses and permits, trademarks, business email, the list pretty much goes on. So the next thing that makes Tailor Brands different, and the part that I appreciate the most, is simplicity. I think their dashboard is very beginner friendly. It is very intuitive versus, I don't know when's the last time you went on your government website, but those websites are not intuitive and are pretty hard to figure out. Now, the next thing that is great about Tailor Brands is that you also get compliance reminders. Now, this part is actually really important, especially if it is your first time running a business, because depending on where you live, there are different compliance requirements that are set by the state that you're living in. And remembering things like annual filings, reports, and fees is a total headache, but Tailor Brands gives you an alert so you don't have to think about it. Next thing that I really like about Tailor Brands is affordable pricing. I think their pricing is very straightforward. You can also pick exactly what you need and not not have to pay for a bunch of things that you're never going to use. And I especially appreciate that their pricing is very transparent and straightforward, because to be transparent, the service that I used for my very first LLC came with a lot of hidden fees. I just felt like there was a lot of things that weren't explained, or, not something that I expected, especially as a very first time LLC owner. But Tailor Brands makes everything very transparent. So pretty much, if you've been following my channel for a while, if you haven't been, make sure to hit like and subscribe. But pretty much, if you have been building your side hustle for quite some time and you are at the point where you've grown it, and if you've grown your side hustle to the point where you might want protection and might want to create your own business bank account and do all the other things that come with growing your business, you should definitely check out Tailor Brands. All right, so let's go back to the original $1,000,000 question. Do you actually need an LLC for your side hustle? So here's my advice. If your side hustle is just, like a fun hobby, something that you do on the side, and it's just like additional fun cash that you earn every single month, then no, you don't technically need an LLC. Especially if you run a pretty low risk business, like, I don't know, flipping furniture, or if you do surveys, then you really don't need an LLC. Now, if you're running a higher risk business, for example, if you do like home repairs, or if you are a fitness coach, pretty much if you're providing services where liability could be an issue, you definitely should get an LLC. It just gives you a peace of mind and protects your personal assets. Okay, so next, if you are at the point where you're making pretty serious money with your side hustle, like something that, is paying your bills or is a significant amount of income, or especially if you turn your side hustle into a full-time business, then you definitely need to make it an LLC, because then you'll get access to business banking and a lot of other professional services and perks that come with owning a business. And I guess lastly, if you want to look more professional and build more credibility with your clients, having an LLC will definitely help you with building more credibility. So pretty much think of it this way. Having an LLC is like having insurance. You hope you're never going to need protection, but if something goes wrong, you'll be glad you had it. So pretty much my answer to the $1,000,000 question is that no, you don't technically need an LLC for your side hustle, but for the side hustlers that are starting to grow and are getting very serious about their business, an LLC would be a great option to both protect your business and build credibility. So if you decide to go for it, Tailor Brands is going to be a great tool for you to kickstart this journey. So Tailor Brands are kindly partnering with me in this video, and they were kind enough to provide my audience with a special discount code that will give you 35% off of any LLC purchase, which is actually probably one of the best discounts I've ever seen a brand provide. So make sure you take advantage of it. You can find it in the description box down below. Once again, thanks Tailor Brands for partnering with me in this video. Now, if you like this video, I actually think you're going to like this one as well. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss my next video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.